Good evening, everyone. Just confirm me once that my voice is audible and this presentation is visible to you so that we can start our discussion in the chat box. Okay, so today's topic is drafting techniques under GST, and this is the one of the very important topic nowadays in current scenario because we all are facing multiple issues related to the GST litigation. Multiple notices has already been issued by the departmental authority related to scrutiny, related to assessment, related to audit, and related to many more. We can say for search, for seizure, for e-way bill related issues. One of the most important thing to be in the market is that to have the essential skills to draft a particular reply for the litigation, to draft a particular reply for the notice, to draft a particular reply for your business audit. Okay, so in this particular session, in this particular webinar, we're going to discuss certain important techniques about the drafting techniques. Okay, I will also first go through with the specific things, that means the issues which is there in GST, what are the reason for various notices, and then we'll talk how to read that particular notice, and then we'll talk on the drafting techniques, so that पहले मैं ये समझूंगा कि what are the important things which we need to keep in our mind while reading that particular notice. Only after that I will be in a situation to prepare the proper replies. Okay, and I will also share with you the complete body of a particular reply, that what should be the part of that particular reply when you will prepare, when you will draft. Because accountant or other professionals can easily file the returns, can handle the compliances, but the point is that whenever there will be a litigation, there is requirement of expert. For preparing the reply related to a litigation, we just require the knowledge of law. We just require the drafting techniques, how we are going to present the study. Okay, because the problem is that everyone have the idea about the provision of law, but how I need to present the same in front of the authority, how I need to present the same with the departmental authority, that is what is the biggest question. And in this particular webinar, we'll discuss each and everything related to that particular matter. So yes, sir. The mode of communication of this session will be Hindi and English both. We'll try to cover the maximum content in English language. This session should be interactive. For that purpose, if you have any question, any query, any doubt, you are free to raise the same in the chat box. Don't wait for the last moment. Just ask the question immediately. We'll take your query and discuss on that. Okay. So let's start our discussion. And if possible for you, just keep one pen and paper with you, so that if you will found any important point, any specific point, you can easily make the notes of that. You can use it in your day-to-day practices. Are you ready, sir? Once confirm in the chat box, are you ready for our discussion? बहुत lightly हम लोग discuss करने वाले हैं बहुत important topics, but the point is that we all should be in an interactive mode. Now, yes, sir. Probable list of litigations. First, I want to share with you the probable list, that why there is litigation, why we need to prepare the reply, why we need to present in front of the departmental authority. Because when I know the fact that these are the reasons for which I need to prepare the reply, only and only after that I will be in a situation to prepare a draft. Okay. So, probable list of litigations. The first is self-assessment. Sir, when I am filing my GSTR 3B return, when I am filing my GSTR 1 return, I am going to briefly discuss these causes. Okay, because we need to discuss the techniques. We need to give time to that techniques. I will discuss these causes in next 10 minutes. Okay, so self-assessment. Sir, when I am filing my GSTR 3B return, well, I am filing my GSTR 1 return. At that time, I am declaring my outward liability. I am claiming the input tax credit based on the invoices which is available with me, and the input tax credit which is available in the GSTR 2B statement. That means at that time I am doing the self-assessment. I am putting the data in GSTR 3B that is related to my output, related to my input. And at that time, I am just going to declare on my self-assessment basis. And if there will be any if and but in future, in that case, departmental authority may issue the notice in form of scrutiny of returns, in form of business audit, in form of the journal notices. So this is the one reason when I am filing the GSTR 3B return and GSTR 1 return, if there will be any mistake, if there will be any wrong data put it, in that case, notice can be shared. Next, provisional assessment. Suppose I am not able to decide the value and rate of a particular supply, and for that purpose, I need to approach to the departmental authority for provisional assessment. In case of provisional assessment, departmental authority is going to provide you the details about the specific amount on the provisional calculation. At the time of final assessment, they will provide you the final findings, and based on that findings, you need to pay the amount or you need to provide your reply. So this is the second scenario. In that case, I need to prepare the reply. I need to ready the draft letter for the departmental authority. Third, sir, I am not registered under GST, but from external sources, departmental authority has get the data that Mr. Sachin has to take the GST registration, but he has not taken the GST registration. In that case, also departmental authority can do my assessment based on the data which is available with the departmental authority, and for that purpose, also departmental authority is going to serve me the notice, or for that purpose, I need to prepare the reply. So there is use of our drafting techniques. Next, assessment of non-return filers. I have taken the GST registration, but I am not filing my return on regular basis. Due to that, departmental authority has issued one notice to me regarding non-filing of the returns. In that case, also, I need to provide the reply. I need to ready the draft letter. I need to ready the reply. So there is requirement of drafting techniques. Sir, under section number 65 of CGST Act, departmental authority can take your case for the business audit, for the departmental audit for a particular financial year, for multiple financial year. And during that business audit, during that particular regular audit, we need to provide the reply in multiple times. Okay, there will be one notice which is served by the departmental authority in ADT 01, and for that purpose, we need to submit the documentation. We need to prepare our reply. Scrutiny related notices, GST ASMT 10, which is not reflected or which is not shared on your mail ID, which will be reflected on your GST and common portal. And you need to provide the essential reply with that scrutiny of returns, for that scrutiny of returns, because if you will not submit the reply within the designated time, in that case, departmental authority can initiate the proceeding under section number 73, 74, and your reply should be specific with the provision of law. There may be chances that departmental authority may issue you the notice related to e-way bill, related to e-invoice, related to search and seizure, and in that case also we need to provide our reply. Now, sir, मैं बहुत सिंपल लैंग्वेज में भी तो रिप्लाई दे सकता हूं ना. Why there is requirement of reference of provision of law? Why there is requirement of reference of the case study? Why there is requirement of certain calculations? The point is that, sir, because my base reply, when I am going to submit any reply to my jurisdictional officer, that reply will be the base of each and every stage of litigation. Suppose jurisdictional authority has passed the negative order, okay, or against your particular reply. In that case, your reply which you have submitted to the jurisdictional authority, that will play the role of base when you will submit any appeal to the appellant authority or appellant tribunal or high court or supreme court. In each and every stage of litigation, your base reply will play a very important role, because in case of high court, supreme court, हो सकता है there may be chances that client will appoint certain advocates, okay, but that advocate will also take the reference of our reply. So there is requirement that our reply should be very prompt. And in this particular webinar, we'll discuss the key techniques that how we can draft a particular reply in a very efficient way. Okay, so the types of litigations are okay for everyone. Sir, in between the session, I will ask you multiple times that this concept is okay for you. So this is your responsibility to provide the same in the chat box. And if you have any question, you may raise the same in the chat box. Yes, sir. I am just expecting reply from each and everyone. Sir will enjoy in this session and will learn a lot of things. I just required your support. Now, techniques to understand the language of notice. I will be in a situation to provide the proper reply or draft a proper reply when I will understand the language of notice. Because अगर मैं उस नोटिस को ही नहीं समझूंगा, I will not understand the language of notice, I will not understand the reason of that particular notice, और मुझे पता ही नहीं चलेगा कि वो नोटिस का मुझे क्या रिप्लाई देना है. Hence, what are the things which we need to take care while reading that particular notice? Because first we need to learn the techniques to read the notice, then we'll learn the techniques to draft a particular reply. We'll take each and everything step by step. Now, First, you need to check the notice issuing authority. Whenever you will receive a particular notice, whether it is related to business audit, whether it is related to scrutiny of returns, whether it is related to any other mode, any other reason, you just need to check the issuing authority, whether these issuing authorities fall under your jurisdiction. Because if the jurisdictional authority, if any other jurisdictional authority has issued the notice, in that case there is requirement of letter from your jurisdictional authority, because without permission of your jurisdictional authority, other authority cannot issue any notice. We need to keep in this our mind. And we can check our central jurisdiction, state jurisdiction over the GST and common portal under profile tab. So whenever you will receive the notice related to any matter, just check who is the notice issuing authority, or that person has the power or not. Whenever you will receive any notice from the CGST department, that is central GST department, at that time just check the DIN number and the validity of the same. Because if your DIN number will be invalid, in that case there is no requirement to provide any reply. तो फर्स्ट वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड कि भैया मुझे इस सिचुएशन में रिप्लाई प्रोवाइड करवाना भी है या नहीं करवाना है, और फॉर दैट पर्पस आई नीड टू चेक द डिन नंबर इफ द नोटिस हैज बीन इशूड बाय सेंट्रल जीएसटी डिपार्टमेंट. बट इन केस इफ द नोटिस हैज बीन इशूड बाय द स्टेट जीएसटी डिपार्टमेंट, इन दैट केस मैक्सिमम केसेस में यू विल नॉट रिसीव दैट डिन नंबर. सो दिस एप्लीकेबिलिटी ऑफ डिन नंबर विल ओनली इन केस ऑफ notices issued by the central GST department. Then first I have checked the notice issuing authority. Then I have go through with the DIN number. Now I need to check what is the reason and under which section this particular notice has been issued. For identification of the reason, I first need to check the section under which that specific notice has been issued. Okay, because suppose the notice has been issued under section number 16. So you can easily go through that this section number 16 is related to input tax credit. So this notice is related to input tax credit. So you have the idea that I just need to check the part of input tax credit. Next, suppose the notice has been issued under section number 12, 13 or 14. In that case, you got that idea that this notice is related to time of supply. So I need to check that matter only. If the notice has been issued under section number 15 or rule number 27 to 32, in that case, this will be the clear identification for you that this notice is related to value of supply. So I just need to check the various transaction which is passed by the taxpayer. If the notice is issued under section number 10, 11, 12 of IGST Act, in that case, this will be the clear identification that there is certain issues related to place of supply. If the notice is issued under section number 54 of CGST Act, in that case, this is the clear identification that this notice is related to refunds. Because when you will get the idea about that particular notice, only after you will be in a situation to demand the documents, the relevant documents from the client. Because when you have the sufficient amount of documents, when you will have the sufficient amount of calculation, reconciliation, only in that particular situation, you will be in a situation to provide the proper reply. You will be in a situation to draft the reply. Because अगर मुझे केवल techniques share करनी है ना, then it will take around 5 to 10 minutes. But if I need to elaborate the techniques, in that case, there is requirement of around 10 to 15 hours. But in this particular session, we'll provide the complete insights. Okay. I will give you the basic idea that what are the documents required, how we can capture that documents, and how we'll prepare the reply, or everything will cover. Next, जैसे ही आपको सेक्शन का आइडिया लगेगा, you can easily get the reason, and then after whatever will be the reconciliation which is provided by the departmental authority in the notice, we just need to check that reconciliation very carefully. If the notice is related to late fees or interest, if the notice is related to difference between GSTR 3B and 1, if the notice is related to difference between GSTR 2A and 3B, in that case, check the calculation. And 40 to 50% time, you will find that there are certain issues in the calculation at the end of departmental authority. कई बार क्या होता है, हम उस कैलकुलेशन को परफेक्ट मानकर उस पर ही काम करना स्टार्ट कर देता है. दिस इज द बिगेस्ट मिस्टेक. फर्स्ट चेक ऑल दी parameter, all the content which is the part of that particular notice. So these are the things which is required. In case of my notice reading techniques. Now, sir, the issues related to notice reading and notice understanding is okay for everyone? Just confirm me once in the chat box that the notice reading and the things which you need to check when you will receive the notice is okay for everyone. Yes, thank you for your response. Now अब मुझे ये चेक करना है. I have already checked the language of notice. I have already checked the various calculation and various reconciliation which were the part of that particular notice. Now I need to check the applicability of various GST provisions. Because when I get the idea about the various provisions, only after that particular situation, I will be able to provide or draft the proper reply. Now, after reading the notice, just go through with the relevant provisions regarding applicable section. Suppose the notice has been issued under section number 16, then this is your responsibility to go through with that complete section number 16, complete if and but of that particular section. And for the interpretation of section number 16, you just need to go through with multiple case studies. क्योंकि जब आप उन केस स्टडीज किससे गो थ्रू करोगे, ओनली इन दैट केस यू विल बी इन अ सिचुएशन टू ड्राफ्ट अ पर्टिकुलर रिप्लाई टू एड द ग्राउंड्स. बिकॉज बॉडी मैं डिस्कस कर लूंगा, टेक्निक्स मैं डिस्कस कर लूंगा, बट ग्राउंड्स यू नीड टू प्रिपेयर. And for the preparation of the grounds, there is a requirement of the complete idea of that particular section under which the notice has been issued. और खाली सेक्शन पढ़ने से कुछ नहीं होगा. If the notice has been issued under section number 16, in that case the related case studies, you need to download the case studies in favor or in against, whatever will be the type of case studies related to that particular section. We need to analyze, we need to prepare our finding. If the notice is related to section number 16 subsection 2 ki various conditions, in that case we have to check what are the parameters which is there. Okay, after that we will be in a situation to analyze and to provide the reply. For interpretation, this is the one technique which is available that you need to go through with the various judgment which is pronounced. Now, based on your above analysis, your reply should be ready. Now, when you will prepare the reply, one common mistake which everyone is going to make, suppose the notice is issued under section number 16, or suppose the notice has been issued under section number 15 of CGST Act, that is related to valuation. We are just going to cut, copy and paste the complete section in our reply. Don't do this particular mistake. We just need to provide the relevant extract of that section number 15 of CGST Act. Or when you will provide the relevant extract of section number 15 of CGST Act, at that time just keep one important thing in your mind, that sir, उसका जो simplified explanation है, the simplified explanation of the section number 15 should be part of your reply. Because section number 15 जब आप पढ़ोगे, हर section के दो अर्थ निकलते हैं. There are 2 to 3 meanings of each and every section. What is your interpretation for that section? You need to put the same in the reply. Because कई बार होता क्या है, सब लोग बोलते हैं your relevant extract, relevant part of the section should be part of your reply, but this is the biggest mistake. You should put the relevant extract only, and with that relevant extract you need to provide the simplified explanation of that particular section, कि आप उसका क्या मतलब निकालते हो, so that in case of any further litigation, whether with appellant authority, whether with appellant tribunal, high court, supreme court, you will be in a situation to fight. Because वहां पर आप ये कह सकते हो कि मैंने इसका इंटरप्रिटेशन ये किया था, as per my analysis this is the meaning, and I reached to that particular conclusion. I have already requested the same with the departmental authority. Now, one more important thing, whenever you will draft a particular reply, just attach the relevant case studies. Now, again, one mistake is there. We'll put the complete case study with our reply. Don't do this particular mistake. We just need to put the relevant extract of that case study. With that, we need to provide the explanation of that case study. Because when you will provide the explanation of that particular case study, in that case, departmental authority or the hearing authority or the hiring authority can easily get the idea of what your intention related to the analysis of that case study. Because एक ही सेक्शन के आप चाहो तो 10 एनालिसिस हम लोग निकाल सकते हैं. We can produce the 10 to 12 analysis of a particular section. But the requirement is that what is the meaning, what is the logic in that particular case, we need to put the same with our reply. Now, if there will be any reconciliations, suppose notice has been issued regarding difference between GSTR 3B and GSTR 1, GSTR 2B and GSTR 3B related to RCM payable, related to interest and late fees, then there is requirement to submit certain reconciliations with the departmental authority. So when you will submit the reconciliations, your reconciliation should be part of annexure. कई बार क्या होता है, वी आर जस्ट गोइंग टू पुट द रिकंसिलेशंस विथ अवर रिप्लाई. डोंट डू दिस थिंग. Whenever you will prepare a particular reply, just write one line that relevant reconciliations is attached with the annexure number 1, or there are 2 to 3 paras, or you want to submit the reconciliation of each and every para. In that case, for each and every reconciliation, you need to prepare a separate annexure, annexure number 1, annexure number 2, annexure number 3. Or if you want to upload, or if you want to provide any supporting documents to the departmental authority, in that case, that should be part of your reconciliations. That should be part of your annexures. Suppose in 3 annexures, you are going to provide the reconciliations. In annexure number 4, you want to provide the supporting documents, if any. So this is the part, this is the thing, how we are going to analyze the provision of law, how we are going to put the relevant section, how we are going to put the relevant case study, and how we are going to submit the relevant reconciliations with our reply. So this is also a very important part of our drafting techniques. बिकॉज कई बार होता क्या है, वो पूरा नोटिस का रिप्लाई जो है मैशअप हो जाता है, तो उसको उस रिप्लाई को समझने में बड़ी दिक्कत होगी. हेंस वी नीड टू बी वेरी मच केयरफुल व्हाइल ड्राफ्टिंग अ पर्टिकुलर रिप्लाई, एंड दीज आर द वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग्स. ओके सर, so these are the things for okay for you regarding the applicability of various GST provision. Once comment in the chat box. And everyone, are you enjoying this session? Everyone can comment in the chat box. Sir, are you enjoying the session? Now, we have certain drafting techniques which we need to keep in our mind. मैंने आपको ये बता दिया कैसे आप सेक्शन को एनालाइज करोगे, हाउ यू आर गोइंग टू गेट द डेटा, एंड फॉर दैट पर्पस यू नीड टू एनालाइज द सेक्शन, यू नीड टू गेट द रीजन ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर नोटिस. सो ऑल दोस थिंग्स वी हैव डन. नाउ ड्राफ्टिंग टेक्निक्स पे हम लोग बात करते हैं. जस्ट रीड द ड्राफ्टिंग टेक्निक्स. फर्स्ट, coverage of the issue. When you will prepare a particular reply, whether related to scrutiny of returns, whether related to assessment, whether related to audit, just careful related to one thing, that coverage of the issue. If departmental authority has issued the notice for 2 to 3 para, suppose one para is related to difference between 3B and 1, another para is related to mismatch in place of supply, third para is related to RCM applicability, in that case your reply should be para wise. First para, you need to provide the reply. Second para, you need to provide the reply. Third para, you need to provide the reply, so that the complete issue will be covered. But if you will prepare only a single reply, in that case, this is not possible to cover the complete issue, and it will be quite difficult for the departmental authority to understand the issues, to understand your reply. For better presentation, we need to provide the para-wise reply. Next, whenever you will prepare the para, for each and every para, you need to provide the reference of provision of law related to place of supply. When you will start your reply, just start with section number 10 of IGST Act, section number 11, section number 12, section number 13 of IGST Act, and put the relevant para. Each and every section which is related to each and every para, you need to put the same para wise. Next, interpretation of the issue. All those things we have already covered in case of our analysis of the provision of law, but these are the part of drafting techniques. और ये मैंने नहीं दी है, these are the specific instruction by the CBIC as well. So मैं just ये communicate कर रहा हूं कि जो हमने analysis of GST law या analysis of section के time पे discuss किया, the same will be our drafting techniques. Okay, interpretation related issues. We need to provide the complete interpretation of that particular section, because your interpretation plays a very important role. When you will interpret a particular reason, you need to provide the reason, because there are 2 important sections we all know under which the case will proceed. Section number 73, section number 74 of CGST Act. Section number 73 is related to non-fraud related cases, no material misstatement, no suppression of fact. Section number 74 of CGST Act will related to fraud related cases, material misstatement, suppression of facts. We always want that our case should be covered under section number 73, so that penalty amount will be very minimum. But departmental authority का विजन ये होता है कि we need to cover that case under section number 74, so that penal provision will be used. It will be completely depend on our interpretation while framing the particular reply that the section should be that case should be covered under section number 73 or 74. We need to provide with reference to the section that there is no involvement of any fraud, any mismatch, any material misstatement, any suppression of fact. Suppose departmental authority has issued one notice related to non-payment to the supplier within 180 days, and departmental authority has imposed the penalty and interest under section number 74. Now, when you will frame the particular reply, I am just going to explain you with certain live examples as well. So when you will frame the reply, at that time you need to take care of that particular fact and you need to put the same in your reply that, sir, our case should not be covered under section number 74. Our case should be covered under section 73. And the reason being, there is no any involvement of fraud. There is no any involvement of material misstatement. There is no any involvement of suppression of fact. We have just made the delayed payment to our supplier due to certain mutual terms, or we can argue that due to certain defectiveness in the products. That is what is the reason. So there is no involvement of any fraud. Hence, the case should be covered under section number 73. मैटर था सेकंड प्रोवाइजो सेक्शन नंबर 16 सबसेक्शन 2 का, बट वहां पर मैंने रेफरेंस सेक्शन नंबर 73 और 74 का भी ले लिया. सो दिस इज द वन टेक्निक दैट व्हेन यू विल प्रिपेयर द रिप्लाई, if there will be any interlinkage of section with the principal section, because in case of non-payment to the supplier, the principal section is my second proviso section number 16 subsection 2, but there is linkage of section number 73 and 74, and I need to provide the reference of section number 73 74 as well, so that वो डिपार्टमेंटल अथॉरिटी अगर नहीं भी माना तो इन केस ऑफ माय अपील टू द अपीलेंट अथॉरिटी आई कैन आर्ग्यू विद दैट. That is what is the logic, that is what is the motive to put the relevant section with your principal section. And this is the importance of interpretational issues. Classification related issues, whenever there will be any notice issued related to mixed supply, composite supply, in that case we need to put our interpretation. Suppose in case of installation of AC, the service charges will be the composite supply. Okay, the installation of AC will be the principal supply and the installation charges will be the composite supply, ancillary supply. So the rate which is applicable on principal supply, the same rate should be applicable on the installation charges. But suppose departmental authority has considered this as a mixed supply and issued the notice. This is just an example. Okay, so now in that case, when you will frame the reply, you need to provide the logic as well, that why this supply should be the combined supply, why this supply should be considered as a composite supply. वहां पर केवल सेक्शन का रेफरेंस लेने से काम नहीं होगा. आप सोच रहे हो विल जस्ट पुट द सेक्शन नंबर 8 ऑफ CGST एक्ट, दिस विल नॉट बी सफिशिएंट. You need to put the practical reasons as well, that without installation AC का कोई रोल नहीं है. So when we'll provide the reply with the relevant section, with the relevant provision, with the relevant case study, sometime we need to put the logics as well. Okay, calculation tables, when you will prepare any reply, your calculation tables should be part of your reply, whether it is related to reconciliation between 3B and 1, whether it is related to place of supply, whether it is related to value of supply, whether it is related to RCM applicability, whether it is related to interest and penalty. The complete calculation table should be part of your annexure. Don't put it with the reply. I am again and again repeating this particular line because this is the important concept of your drafting techniques. Documentation and submission, everything should be part of your reply, or whenever you will submit a particular reply to the departmental authority, just take acknowledgement. Or whenever you will prepare the forwarding letter, because whenever you are going to submit any physical document to the departmental authority, you need to take one office copy. Okay, now point is that you need to prepare the letter in 2 copies. One will be the office copy. Now the point is that on your letter you need to put the total number of pages you are going to submit to the departmental authority as well, because in case of any litigation, if departmental authority will say that we have not received the documentations, in that case we may argue that these are your enclosures and this is the total number which we have provided, and you have provided the certified copy with your stamp. जब तक सब कुछ सही है, everything is fine, but if there will be any litigation, in that case there is requirement of paper only. Okay, our oral communication will not be sufficient in that case, and when you will submit the documents to the GST and common portal, in that case this is completely okay. Okay, but suppose in case of scrutiny related notices, if departmental authority has issued one notice related to personal hearing and you have visited the departmental authority, in that case sign on the sheet, okay, and take a copy from the departmental authority so that it will be proof for you that we have already attended the PH. So these are the very important drafting techniques which we need to use in our day-to-day practices. Sir, are you okay with it? Now, we have certain common grounds. Okay, I am going to share with you certain grounds which should be part of our reply. We need to include these grounds with our reply so that our reply will be more effective. First, period of limitation. We always need to know that, sir, under section number 73, what is the timeline to issue the notice? Under section number 74, what is the timeline to issue the notice? For search seizure, what is the timeline to issue the notice? In case of demand of documentation related to business audit, what is the timeline to issue the notice? Because if departmental authority has issued any time barred notice, in that case we may take this particular ground related to period of limitation. Because if the notice is issued under section number 73, non-fraud cases, no material misstatement, no suppression of fact, in that case timeline will be 3 years from due date for filing the annual return for the relevant financial year. Suppose for financial year 2022-23, the timeline will be 31st December 2023 will be the due date to file the annual return, and from that date 3 years is there. That means December 26 will be the last date to issue the notice related to financial year 2022-23 under section number 73. For 74, we have 5 years from the relevant financial year, due date of filing of annual return for the relevant financial year. Although in 53rd GST Council meeting, government has proposed to change the dates, okay, to apply the same time period in case of 73 and 74. But now this is the actual scenario, section number 73, 74. So the point is that I just want to communicate that whenever you will get a particular case, we just need to first check कि कहीं भैया वो time barred तो नहीं हो रहा है, and if the case is time barred, in that case just put one liner reply. Natural justice principles should be followed. If there will be, suppose I am again taking that particular situation, that non-payment to the supplier within 180 days, and if departmental authority has take the case under section number 74, we may put this natural justice principles. That, sir, मैं किसी को डिले पेमेंट कर रहा हूं, there may be a lot of chances, there may be certain financial difficulties, there may be certain mutual terms. Yes, you may impose the interest and penalty, but why you are covering the case under section number 74? Because I have not made any fraud, I have not made any material misstatement, because my books of accounts may already mention that I have not made the payment, I have not passed any fudgy or fake entry in my books of accounts. That type of grounds we need to put in our reply while framing the replying. Because in case of any litigation or in case of any approach to the appellant authority or appellant tribunal, these are the basic grounds which we need to follow. कई बार सेक्शन आपका साथ नहीं देंगे, बट कई बार आपके जो इंपॉर्टेंट ग्राउंड्स है वो आपका साथ दे जाएंगे. मल्टीपल टाइम योर सेक्शन विल नॉट सपोर्ट यू, बट देयर आर सर्टेन लॉजिक्स which will support you. We also need to put, if the notice has been issued without any reason, in that case also we need to put the same in particular reply. Suppose departmental authority has demanded the interest and penalty for a specific period, but for that period the government has already announced a certain scheme or already announced certain circular or notification. In that case we just need to put that particular fact. We also need to put the revenue neutral. In many cases, suppose there is requirement to reverse the input tax credit, but by mistake I have reduced my output tax liability. Due to that, there will be no any revenue loss to the government. Okay, I have to reverse the input tax credit, but I have pay excess amount in my output tax. Sorry, I have to reverse the input tax credit, but I have excess paid the amount in output tax liability. So there will be no any revenue loss to the government. Just take the reverse situation. Suppose I have to claim certain input tax credit, but I have not claimed and I have reduced my output tax liability. There is also no any revenue loss to the government. Yes, the procedure is completely wrong. So there is procedural lapses are there, but this transaction is never revenue neutral. There is no any loss to the government. So this is also one ground which we need to use, because in many cases you will find out where client has to adjust the input tax credit, but the person has adjusted the same with the output tax. This will be the scenario you will found in many cases. Okay, sir, are you facing these issues? Just comment me in the chat box. If your notice has been issued by the other authority, that means which is not your jurisdictional authority, in that case that should be part of your reply, that sir, notice has been issued by the other jurisdictional authority. Where is the letter? Because we have already covered, whenever other jurisdictional authority will issue any notice, there is a requirement of the letter from your jurisdictional authority. If there will be any interest and penalty, in that case our interpretation, our analysis of section number 73, 74 will plays a very important role. Because in case of section number 73, highest penalty is 10% of tax or 10,000 rupees. But in case of section number 74, the highest penalty is 100% of tax. So whenever we'll provide our reply, we need to be focused on penalty and interest as well. That is section number 73, 74. Our concluding para should be related to section number 73 and 74. Now, sir, what will be the body of reply? When you will prepare a particular reply, so abhi tak we have already covered that how we are going to analyze the provision of law, how we'll identify the reason of that particular notice, how we'll put the relevant extract of section, how we'll put the simplified explanation, how we'll put the reconciliations and various supporting documents, how we'll put the various case studies in our case. But now this is the time to discuss on the body of the reply, that what are the things which should be part of your reply, whether it is related to appeal or whether it is related to your normal cases, that is scrutiny of returns or any other matter. So the first thing, the first part of your reply should be fact of the situation. You just need to put the basic introduction of the industry, that is Messrs XYZ Limited is dealing or engaged in the business of this, and this is the principal place of business of this industry. Then after, you need to put the fact of the situation, that in this particular situation the departmental authority or your good self has issued the notice related to this particular matter. So under fact of situation, you need to put the matter for which the departmental authority has issued the notice. Then second part, after providing the fact of situation, because हो सकता है जुरिडिक्शनल अथॉरिटी को आप रिप्लाई दे रहे हो, दैट इज कंप्लीटली ओके बिकॉज दैट पर्सन हैज इश्यूड द नोटिस. बट इफ देयर विल बी एनी फर्दर लिटिगेशन एंड यू नीड टू सबमिट एनी रिप्लाई टू द अपीलेंट अथॉरिटी, in that case that person has no idea about that particular matter, and for understanding the matter that person has to go through with the complete notice. But if you have provided the fact of situation in front of your reply, that person can easily go through with that fact of situation. And we all know that this decision of the appellant authority, appellant tribunal, is completely depend on your presentational skills. Your reply will play a very important role, but what the things you are going to communicate in front of the appellant authority, that will also be a very important thing. Next, reference of the relevant section. Now you need to put the relevant section, uska extract and this simplified explanation. So just keep in your mind, because now we will discuss on the body of that particular reply. So first, fact of the situation. Next, section mein you need to put three parts. One part is related to the extract of the section, second part is your simplified explanation, and third part is your interpretation effect. Now, reference of the case study, you need to put the relevant reference of the case study, uska simplified explanation and the interpretation. Then after, if there will be any reconciliations, if there will be any calculation table, that should be part of your annexure. If there will be any supporting documents, that should be part of your reconciliation. At the end, you need to provide the concluding para. And in your concluding para, you should use very humble language. That sir, as per our opinion, this demand should be reduced. This demand should be waived off. We just need to use should be, because as a taxpayer, as a tax professional, we are not in a role to provide any order. We are just put that as per our opinion, as per the interpretation of law, this should be the treatment. Okay, because this should word plays a very important role while you're replying. So this is the complete body. Fact of this situation, one time. If there is, if the notice has been issued under 3 para, 4 para, in that case, you need to provide the section, explanation, case study for each and every para separately. But fact of situation, one time is okay. Is that okay, sir? Body of reply is okay for each and everyone. Will conclude in next 5 minutes. If you have any question, then ready with the questions. You may put the questions in the chat box. We'll take one by one your queries related to the drafting techniques. Okay. Now, special while drafting the appeal, whenever you will draft a particular appeal, because the same mechanism which we need to use in case of our scrutiny of returns, in case of assessment, we just need to use the same in case of drafting of appeal. Just the point is that drafting of appeal is certain modern. We need to put certain creamy things in that particular appeal so that the decision will be in favor, or we will be in a situation to present our case in front of the appellant authority, appellant tribunal in a very well way. But the important thing is that whenever you will ready a particular appeal, just take the reference of the show cause notice as well. And whatever the reply you have provided in your show cause notice, that should be part of your appeal. In many cases, we found that taxpayer are just going to put the details related to the current scenario and just provide the details related to the para. They are not going to put any reference of the show cause notice. They are not going to put anything related to the reference of the notice. So we need to be very much careful from that aspect, that whenever we'll draft a reply, we need to take care of that particular thing. Appeal should be based on law only, because logics kab dunga, I just need to provide the logics with the appeal only when the same is with reference to the provision of law. Okay, so in your appeal, first part is that you need to take the reference of the provision of law. Your appeal should be based on law only. Interpretation will be the essential part of appeal. Whenever you will put a particular section, you need to provide the complete explanation of that particular section in your appeal, because appeal is completely an analytical skills. Appeal drafting is completely an analytical skills, and when you will present in front of the appellant authority, appellant tribunal, your presentation skills will matter. So whatever you have written, that will be part of your presentation skill. Appeals should be point to point. There is no requirement to put extra material. When I am taking certain physical events, at that time, certain peoples or certain tax professionals are saying that, sir, appeal should be in 10 pages, 15 pages, or what are the minimum number of pages? So the point is that there is no requirement of more number of pages. If you are in view that if the number of pages will be more, in that case, our appeal will be efficient. No. Your appeal will be efficient based on your interpretation, your analytics, your point-to-point discussion in that particular appeal. Just requirement is that we need to put the relevant points. There is no requirement to put unnecessary content in the appeal. Your appeal should be short, जिससे आप जो कन्वे करना चाह रहे हो, that appellant authority can easily get that idea about your communication. SCN and order summary should be part of your memorandum of appeal, and also check that appeal should be submitted with the relevant amount of time. There is a specific time in which you need to file the appeal, but if there will be any delay, in that case you need to provide the condonation of delay as well. If the notice has been issued or the order has been issued parawise, para 1, para 2, para 3, in that case our appeal should be parawise. Okay, and with your appeal, there is requirement to put certain relevant case studies. This is the important thing. Now, these are the things which is related to the provision of law, which is related to the drafting techniques. We have covered the body of that particular reply or of that particular appeal. Now, one important point I just want to discuss with you, sir. Drafting techniques, if you will use these particular techniques, you will be in a situation to prepare a particular reply very easily, because fact मैंने put कर दिया, मैंने section put कर दिया, मैंने case study I have already done, reconciliations I have already done, and the concluding para I have already done. Okay, and I will take the forwarding letter. Now, point is that in maximum cases, will focus on our input tax credit only, because in our view, the input tax credit is the major role player in the market for the litigation, because departmental authorities are also issuing the notices on the ground of difference between GSTR 3B and 2B, difference between GSTR 1 and 3B. But sir, this is my humble submission to you. There are a lot of things which we need to explore, because in case of place of supply, there are higher chances for the litigation. In case of value of supply, there is higher chances for the litigations. In case of time of supply, in case of the taxable event, this is also very much important thing. Because if departmental authority has issued any notice related to taxability of a particular product, suppose your client is dealing in multiple products, okay, and on one product that person is not paying the taxes, and the interpretation is that this will not covered under the taxable event. When departmental authority will issue the notice related to that matter, we need to take the reference of section number 7 and we need to prepare the reply. So your interpretation related to each and every section should be very much perfect. Whenever you will frame the reply, the other related section should be part of your reply. Suppose departmental authority has issued any notice related to the interest on account of unsecured loan. In that case, we all know that this interest is not due to trade. So no GST should be applicable. But when you will frame the reply, you need to take care of complete sections. You need to take care of complete section number 7, that sir supply include sale, exchange, barter, और वहां पर मनी को गुड्स की डेफिनेशन में नहीं फॉल किया गया, hence no GST will be applicable. और होता क्या है, we are just going to provide the reply that this interest is not due to trade, hence no GST should be applicable. Whenever prepare a reply, take the reference of the section. In certain scenarios, departmental authority may issue the notice under section number 74 for difference between GSTR 3B and GSTR 2B. You have claimed the excess input tax credit which is not reflected in GSTR 2B, and departmental authority has issued the notice under section number 74. In that case, you need to argue. You need to draft your reply based on the interpretation of section number 73 and section number 16 subsection 2 की various condition. Yes sir, the same was not reflected in our 2B and we have claimed the input tax credit, but the point is that there is no any involvement of fraud, there were no any fake invoices, the input has not been reflected in GSTR 2B or 2A only due to certain technical glitches or certain technical issues. You need to prove that particular situation, that there is no any fake invoicing, we have received the goods. After that, we have claimed the input tax credit, so that automatically you will win this case. I am sharing these practical case studies because nowadays these are the maximum cases for which departmental authority is issuing the notices under section number 74. So we need to argue with that authority with reference to these parameters, so that we will be in the winning situation. Because only filing the GST returns, only filing the GSTR 9 and 9C, only following the compliances under GST, we will not be in a situation to survive. Because there is huge competition in the market, we need to focus on the provision of law. We need to analyze each and every section under GST for preparing the reply. So for that drafting techniques, there is a requirement to learn each and everything. So yes sir, just I am going to recap our complete session in next 2 to 3 minutes. We have started our discussion from the reasons for the notices. So notice may be issued for the self-assessment. That means when I am filing my GSTR 3B and GSTR 1 return, there may be chances due to self-assessment, notice can be issued. Due to assessment of unregistered person, due to assessment of non-return filers, due to business audit, due to e-way e-invoice related issues, notices can be issued. For preparing the reply, there is requirement to analysis of provision of law, there is requirement of analytical skills, there is requirement of interpretation of the notice. We just need to identify that who has issued the notice, who is the jurisdictional authority. The notice has been issued with the valid VIN number in case of CGST. Also, the notice has been issued under which section. Then we'll get the idea about the reason of that particular notice. Accordingly, we'll check the reconciliation tables. While framing our reply, we just need to put the fact of the situation. We just need to put the relevant extract of the section with the simplified explanation. We need to put the relevant case study with the simplified explanation. And at the end, we need to put the concluding para. Each and every reconciliations should be part of our annexures, annexure 1, annexure 2, annexure 3. If you want to submit any supporting documents, in that case the same should be part of your annexure only. Okay, so these are the things we need to keep in our mind. In case of drafting of appeal should not be lengthy. Appeal should be point to point. There is no requirement of more number of pages. Appeal should be based on law only. We need to put certain logics as well which will link to that particular section. With that principal section, we need to put certain interlinked sections as well while drafting the reply. Whenever you will draft a particular reply, because the proceeding will be initiated under section number 73 or 74, so we need to be very much careful while analyzing that section number 73 and 74. These are the element related to the drafting of a efficient reply. If you have any question, just put the same in the chat box. I will take your questions. On YouTube, you may put the questions. Avni, so there is no any standard format for drafting a particular reply. This will be vary from situation to situation, but we just need to keep in mind that we should be focused on the elements. Okay, whether you are framing any reply for the appellant authority, for the tribunal, or for your judicial officer, the flow of the reply should be your fact of the situation, your section, your provision. But if you are providing any reply for the contractual authorities, in that case there will be very less role of the sections, but we may fact of the situation, the logics which should be part, but your reply should be started with the fact and end with the concluding para. In between you need to put the element according to the notice. Okay, so difference in GSTR 1 and 3B, and you have put credit note as a debit note. This is a technical issue, okay? Or you have put the wrong data, but there is no any involvement of mindset that is related to fraud, willful misstatement of separation of fact. Due to that, your output liability has been enhanced, okay? Hence, there will be a difference between GSTR 1 and 3B, and departmental authority has issued the notice for the payment of taxes. Am I right, sir? So in this particular situation, you just need to provide the reference. You need to provide the physical copy of the credit note with the departmental authority. That's sir, this is the certified copy which is issued by the counterparty, and we are going to submit to you. And there is no any facility, because I suppose the timeline to amend the GSTR1 has already been lapsed. Okay, so you need to argue with that particular ground. There is certain case studies are also available, so you need to take the reference of that case study as well, so that your reply will be efficient. Okay, so the point is same. You need to put the fact of the situation, then after you need to provide the reference of the section. Okay, under which section the departmental authority has issued the notice. Then after you need to provide the reference related to technical glitch or related to a mistake which is not due to any fraud, willful misstatement, or suppression of fact. Then after concluding para will be there, and supporting documents may you need to provide the copy of the credit note provided by the counterparty, and take one declaration from that party as well, and submit the same with the departmental authority, so that it will be your efficient reply. So in case of appeal, you just need to provide the screenshot of the mail that, sir, we have already provided the documents or related invoices over the mail of the departmental authority, but they have not considered the same. Okay, and they have rejected our refund application. So you may submit the same while doing the appeal. Okay, that is what is the remedy which is available with you. I am also requesting everyone who is joining this session and listening with us. I request whatever will be your feedback for our today's session, just put the same in the chat box. And if you have any query, then please put the same in the chat box.